Well, here we are. We are going to finish off Daniel chapter 4. We're going to do part 2. And if you didn't see part 1, then go see part 1. What you doing here for? All right. So Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and Daniel is going to try to describe the dream. And Daniel did not like the dream. He goes, "Oh, Nebuchadnezzar, I wish this dream was for somebody else. It's really rough. It's really hard." What we're going to do is we're going to look at the very last sentence in the old section. Let me see if I can get this to screen share so that we can move into the interpretation of this dream. One of the things we ended with was, for a while it was talking about this tree, and it kept saying, it's going to do this, and it's going to get cut down, and it's going to have a band of, I didn't draw the band of iron. It's going to have a band of iron clamped around the stump, right?
Don't forget to draw the water on it.
Oh yeah, the dew. All right, you got to have like dew, because it was out. Have you ever gone out in the morning and your feet get super wet from the grass and you go, ugh, that's the dew, right? But if you start talking about it, the tree, and started talking about him, Nebuchadnezzar, and we drew him with like confused eyes going, what's going on? Because things are going to get tricky and crazy. But one of the main important things about this dream is so that, I'm going to zoom in here, the sentence is by the decree of the watchers and the demand of the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High rules in the kingdoms of men and gives it to whomever he wills and sets up over it the lowest of men. This dream is meant to teach that God rules. That's the point. God rules. Now, sometimes people say, oh man, that's awesome, that rules. But this is the most true rules ever. God rules. He is awesome, he is incredible, but he literally rules over everything, whether we are happy about it or not. Sometimes we wish that we could make our own rules. We need to remember that God rules. Okay, so now we're going to continue.
Mr. Dan?
Yeah?
Was it chapter 4?
Yes, we're in Daniel chapter 4.
Okay, thank you.
I think we read this, that about, oh yeah, we got down here. I should, yeah, we did see this part down here. I'll pick up here in verse 19. Then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was astonished for a while, and his thoughts troubled him. He's sad, right? You can draw little tears if you want. The king answered and said, Belteshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation trouble you. Belteshazzar said to my lord, the dream be for them that hate you, and the interpretation thereof to your adversaries. He says, I wish this dream was for your enemies, because he knows that the dream is going to be unfortunate for Nebuchadnezzar. And it's really nice of Nebuchadnezzar to be a nice guy and say, oh, don't worry about it. It's all going to be okay. Is it going to be okay? What do you think?
No.
No, it's going to be pretty rough. All right, now we'll read ahead. The tree that you saw, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto the heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all. Don't forget, my old translation, it doesn't mean it's a meat tree, it's a food tree. You get the idea, right? And in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon the branches the fowls of the heaven had their habitation. It is you, O King. You are grown and become strong, for your greatness is grown, and reaches unto the heaven, and your dominion to the end of the earth. So Daniel says, this, we got to draw. Remember how the trick on drawing a tree is you draw like a weird blobbly thing, right? Right? And then you draw a branch there, maybe a branch like that. And then you start gathering those branches in as the trunk. Well, that's not a very straight tree, but you get the idea. All right, so there's this tree. But apparently this tree isn't just a tree. This tree is also what?
Nebuchadnezzar.
It's King Nebuchadnezzar.
You could give him the beard.
I'm saying that this is the beard.
Oh.
And he's doing pretty good for himself, right? There's his hands. He's like, man, I'm just a pretty good guy. Here's my feet. And I've got fruits of all kinds in me, cube fruits and meat fruits. Again, I thought that was really funny since my translation called it all kinds of meat, which just sounds really gross. And he's got all sorts of fruits in him. Oops, my phone stopped. Hold on, wake up, phone. He's got all sorts of foods in him, right? And you've got Tweety birds that live inside him, right? Nice little birds. And there's the animals living underneath him. And I'll do another giraffe. Remember, giraffes have the lollipops on top of their heads for some reason. They got spots. So here he is. He's just doing so great, isn't he? He says, you, King Nebuchadnezzar, you're great. But is that the end of the dream?
Nope.
Nope.
And whereas the king saw a watcher and a holy one come down from heaven, right? So I don't know if it's two or one. Last time I was thinking it was one person, and now I'm almost thinking it might be two. So you can draw. Here comes this watcher. I don't know what a watcher looks like, but we'll just put his hands out like he's watching.
Last time I drew a watcher, I drew with big eyes because he's watching.
Oh, that's not a bad idea at all. I'll put this one with big eyes. And since they're coming down from heaven, I always like to draw angel wings just because I don't know what these guys are, but that's like a sign that they're coming down from heaven for me, okay? So here they come. You see these two watchers. I'll give this guy here too. Come down from heaven, flutter, flutter, saying, hew. Okay, what does the word hew mean? Cut. Cut down the tree and destroy it. Oh, okay, here's a guy. He's got his axe or hatchet, whatever you want. I'll give this guy one also. I know some of you guys were like doing two-handed battle axes. I don't think they were using two-handed battle axes. But, whatever. So here they are. Cut down the tree and destroy it. Nevertheless, leave the stump and the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, and in the grass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree from the Most High, which has come upon my lord the king. All right, you want to know what these two watchers are going to do to you, the tree? This is what it means. That you shall be driven from men, and your dwelling shall be made with the beasts of the field, and you shall be made to eat grass as the oxen, and you shall be wet with the dew of heaven. All right. There's a lot of things here. Let's get these ideas written out. First, you're going to be driven away from men. That doesn't mean he's going to get in a car. He's going to be away from people. Okay? Number 2, your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. Where is he going to live?
With animals.
Live with animals. So now you just draw a person, but now just 4 legs like that and a nice tail. Okay? You shall be made to eat grass like the oxen. While he's away from people and while he's living with animals, what's he going to do? I'm 39 years old and I misspelled the word eat. Come on, son. Eat. What's he going to eat?
Grass.
Grass. I don't know. Does that look like grass to you?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Do you have a
looks
green?
like he's going to eat dotted lines. I don't know.
Do you have a green pencil?
Oh, man. Good idea, Lily. Wow, that's the best picture of grass you've ever seen in your life. No, it's not. Here, I'll get this animal a longer head so it looks like an animal.
Now it does look like grass, though.
There we go. Away from people, living with animals, eating grass, and he's also going to be wet with the dew of heaven. How do you think that's going to feel?
Maybe kind of gross.
Good? No, think about being wet all the time, all night long.
I said gross, not good.
Oh, I see. Gross. Good job, Jack. Thank you. I misspelled the word wet also. Apparently, I need to take a spelling test again. All right. These are the things that are going to happen. And it's going to, how long is it going to last? 7 times. How long do you think 7 times is? Your translation?
Years.
Most people think years. 7 years living like this? Oh my goodness. That's hard to believe. 7 times shall pass over ye, till, here we go, time for yellow pencil, till you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and gives it to whomever he wills. The dream, oh, I like this. This is so much fun. The thing I marked as yellow over on this side is right here next to the yellow on this side. That's kind of fun. The dream is supposed to teach Nebuchadnezzar that the Most High rules. You are going to have this happen to you so that you will learn that the Most High rules. All right, let's see if you can learn. And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, your kingdom shall be sure unto you. After that, you shall have known that the heavens do rule. So remember how it said that the stump would be left, even if it had this iron band put on it? But the stump was going to survive, right? So the point is, after you spend maybe 7 years living like this, it's still alive. You can rule again. So this is what Daniel says to Nebuchadnezzar. Therefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable to you, and break off your sins by righteousness, and your iniquities by showing mercy to the poor. Stop sinning and be merciful, if there may be a lengthening of your tranquility. Daniel says, don't sin. Try to stop your sins so that you don't let this happen soon, that you will have that you'll be okay. That's what Daniel urged, okay? Okay, so this is what's going on. Nebuchadnezzar has a dream. He gets Daniel to interpret it. The interpretation of the dream is, Nebuchadnezzar, you're going to get cut down and live with the animals and get wet with dew and eat grass. So don't be foolish. Don't sin. Be merciful. See if you can have more peace before this thing happens to you. Does that make sense? You guys all caught up so far? Mm-hmm. All right. So let's see what happens. All this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months, so 12 months later, how many years is 12 months?
1 year.
So basically, 1 year later, he had this dream, and then 1 year later, this is what happens. He was walking in the royal palace of Babylon. The king spoke and said, is not this great Babylon, which I have built for the royal dwelling place by the right of my power and for the glory of my majesty? What was he proud of?
Himself.
Who did it all?
God.
Who did he think did it all?
Him.
This is pride, right? This is, why did that eye look like a heart? It's not supposed to be a heart eye. Pride is bad. There we go. While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is spoken, The kingdom is departed from you, and you shall be driven from men, and your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and you shall be made to eat grass as the oxen, and 7 times will pass over you until you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men. It's coming true. It's happening! Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Oh, nope, that's not it. Hold on, let me find my paper. That the Most High... Oh, wait. I didn't hit the button yet. That the Most High rules in the kingdom of men. Come on, phone, catch up. There we go. In the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomever he wills. And you can put like exclamation mark with explosions. Because this is a scary moment. Right when Nebuchadnezzar was in the middle of saying, I am the coolest person in the whole world, bam. God talks to him. God talks to him. Have you ever heard of the phrase, pride comes before the fall? He was so proud of himself. He's about to fall. Nebuchadnezzar is so much fun, guys. He's so much fun to study. All right, here we go. The same hour the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar. And he was driven away from men, did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet from the dew of heaven, till his hair grew out like eagle's feathers,
Oh.
and his nails like bird's claws. Oh boy, is this going to be fun to draw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We've done scary monster beasts before. Nothing like this though.
All right. We got to fire up the drawing machines for this one. You know, okay, here's the thing. When we were drawing the dream, it was just a dream. When we were drawing Revelation, it was mostly just visions. We're about to draw something that actually happened. Isn't that weird? This is not pretend. This is not what might it look like if this did happen. It really did happen. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the tree stump in the background because that kind of puts it in frame. You guys probably already drew your tree stump. I'm going to draw another one for the board.
Why is it green?
Because that's the color that's in my hand. All right, so then we have to draw Nebuchadnezzar. Are we going to keep it? We'll keep his beard on him, right? Well, no, it's got to be eagle feather beard.
Well, shouldn't we draw him proud first? Hey, shouldn't we draw him really proud first?
No, I'm just going to draw him a mess. Are we going to keep... Maybe he should take his crown off for this drawing, right? Because the crown is a sign of his greatness. So now you got to start drawing feathers.
How about the feathers are the crown?
That's true.
I drew King Nebuchadnezzar saying, I am so and then I'm going to draw the person coming. Somebody came out of heaven partly when he was when he was part way through saying it, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, Alice, I took your idea and I drew these feathers to kind of look like the crown. But now I'm going to put green grass in his mouth.
I'm drawing claws on his fingers and toes.
And here he's holding grass in his hand, grabbing some grass.
I need you to do claws.
All right, and I'll give him blue claws. All right. Don't forget, he's got toes.
Whoa.
Now the point here isn't that like he's got really cool, like awesome claws. It's that they all grew out and got nasty.
Fingernails.
Yeah, like nasty fingernails, not cool claws.
I'm trying to draw claws on the feathers.
Yeah. All right, and then we can draw water droplets on him because he's in the dew, right? He's wet and he's humiliated. It kind of means he's out in the storms. He wouldn't even know to come inside in the rain. Does that look like a really awesome king?
No.
No.
Does it kind of look like somebody who is losing?
Yep.
Yeah.
The water droplets look like gnats all around him.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good connection. Because it probably would be like that, don't you think?
Maybe.
This
Yeah,
is
because he is outside if he's eating grass.
yeah. Ooh.
And flies.
And is he
Might
is
be
he with
kinda
anybody?
stinky.
Do people want to be with him?
Nope.
No. It says he was driven away from people, but can you understand why? I bet he smells really good.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's why I'm drawing flies around him.
It's a mess. It's a mess. He said, look at the stuff that I made. Whap! And this is what he got punished with. And it could be 7 years living that way. Imagine how long his clawy fingernails were and how his hair and his beard got. Maybe that's the idea about why they look like eagle's feathers and eagle's claws.
I'm drawing mud on him.
That's a good one. I don't have a good mud color, but that's a good description. All right, so I'm going to go back to screen share. You guys can keep drawing your crazy guy. I'm going to read some more of the story. At the end of the days, What? Who was the I?
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar. He's the one telling the story. He's telling an embarrassing story about himself. At the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and my understanding returned unto me. If his understanding returned unto him, that probably means he went crazy for 7 years living like an animal. Does that make sense?
You know, maybe it means like he understood that God was the greatest.
That's the other thought. Either he went crazy and he got his sanity back, or it took him 7 years of living like an animal to understand that God is great. And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that lives forever, for his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. I should underline that too. And he does according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of earth. And none can stay, or none can stop his hand, or say unto him, what are you doing? This, guys, this whole thing. I don't know if you like finding memory verses for yourself. This is an awesome memory verse. Well, it's more than one verse, but you get the idea. I blessed the Most High and praised and honored him that lives forever, for his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. Everyone on earth is like nothing compared to him. And he does according to his will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can say to his hand or say unto him, What are you doing? No one can question God. Now, you can ask God a question, but can you really say to God, what do you think you're doing, God? That's what happens. I know what I'm doing, God. Bam. Yeah, this is the lesson. This is the lesson that Nebuchadnezzar learned. This is the lesson that you and I need to learn. It's one of those moments when, okay, parents probably, I know I've said it, and I'm a parent, because I say so. God is the one who can absolutely say it. God, why do I have to do this? When God says, because I say so, this is why. Because he deserves it. He deserves that right. God is so big. God is so good. And my encouragement for you kids today, and for me as a kid myself, how about we learn it by reading this paragraph instead of getting turned into animal people ourselves, right? At the same time, my understanding returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, my majesty and brightness returned unto me. And my counselors and my lords sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent greatness was added unto me. What did King Nebuchadnezzar get to be after he learned his lesson?
You became great.
He became a great king again. God let him have his power. But where do you think Nebuchadnezzar's heart was?
With God.
Yeah, he really learns, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven. For all his works are truth, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase. God, everything he does is true. Everything he does is with right judgment. And if you try to walk in pride, God will abase you. What do you think that means based on this story? If you try to walk in pride, God will abase you. Can you guess what that means? Was Nebuchadnezzar walking in pride?
Yeah.
He had been.
What happened to Nebuchadnezzar?
Turned into a beast. He got
Yeah.
a beast.
I don't think God's going to do it to everybody who acts proud, but he will.
There'd be a lot of weird animals.
I would be an animal right now, I'm sure of it, because I've been acting in pride too. But God can humble and humiliate us. I think that that's what's in the idea of a base. Nebuchadnezzar, who was essentially the biggest king on the planet at that time, got turned into a crazy cow man with eagle feather claws. We need to learn the lesson that God can change us. Can he change us for good?
Yes.
Let's choose to be changed for good instead of being changed like this. All right, do you have any questions about the class? About the material?
It's
No?
like you just did it. If you say
Why didn't he learn his lesson? Because it was such a bad punishment that he got.
I think he did.
I think he did learn his lesson.
He
Now,
did learn his lesson, but why didn't he learn his lesson before?
because, and I'll just speak for myself, I am a fool and I do foolish things. And just because somebody warns me doesn't mean I won't do it. Have you done something? You don't have to answer out loud. You don't have to answer out loud. Have you known that something was wrong and you just did it? I have. And that's what Nebuchadnezzar did. And so we are trying to learn to listen to parents, to adults, to teachers, to God, And if we listen to God and learn from God, we won't have to be punished like this. And that's the point. But that is a really good question. Why didn't he learn his lesson ahead of time? Well, I don't always learn my lesson ahead of time. All right. Well, good question. I'm going to close off with that, and I will see y'all later.